I'm going to give you the 30,000-foot view of what's happening in Washington, and that's not just a metaphor. I was on a plane from Los Angeles back to D.C. when the Paul Manafort conviction came down, and then seemingly moments later, the Michael Cohen guilty plea. And so I followed it all thanks to the magic of Wi-Fi on websites, on Twitter. I tweeted about it, but without watching the live cable coverage, and in a way that was sort of purifying. And so now that I've had more of a chance to absorb the spin on all sides, I can say this. On the one hand, you have much of the media, I mean, it's just a gleeful reaction to the fact that these two legal setbacks for President Trump. The Manafort conviction obviously was somewhat expected and doesn't have anything to do with the president's campaign or Russian collusion. But the Michael Cohen guilty plea, leaving aside the bank fraud and tax evasion charges he pled to, when he goes into court and says, I violated campaign finance laws at the direction of Donald Trump in arranging these two payments or being involved in payments to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, obviously that is a big legal problem for the president. And when Lanny Davis, his lawyer, goes on all these shows and says the president, if Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to a crime, the president is guilty as well. Well, obviously that remains to be seen. But it tells you it was not a good day for the president. Now, the spin propagated by media precincts that are more friendly to the president is, campaign finance violation. It's kind of like a speeding ticket, not that big a deal. President himself talking about the Obama campaign paying almost $2 million fine for a very much narrower set of violations. Plus, nobody in America cares, and this was a long time ago. And also, Paul Manafort is a brave man because he didn't break, whereas Michael Cohen is making up stories. But it was telling that in that 24-hour period, nobody on behalf of the White House appeared on television. Rudy Giuliani put out a statement, talked to a couple of reporters, but while Lanny Davis was everywhere on behalf of Michael Cohen, the administration sort of held back. The president then tweeting yesterday, mostly attacking Cohen and saying this wasn't really a crime and so forth, and then pre-taping that interview with Ainsley Earhart of Fox and Friends, in which he said he knew about the payments later on, the payments to the two women, directly contradicting Cohen's account. Now, every time that I have talked about this $130,000 to the former porn star Stormy Daniels or $150,000 through American Media Inc. To Karen McDougal, the former Playboy model, I've gotten all kinds of heat from Trump supporters saying, nobody cares, 2006 alleged affair, it's just gossip, get a life, and all that. And I agree that it's very old news and it's kind of baked into the cake. But what I said, because I've watched so many of these investigations, is that the fact that there is a financial paper trail, and once it came out, the president had personally reimbursed Michael Cohen for the Stormy payment, that could be legal trouble for the president, and that's what's happened. Yes, this has nothing to do with Russian collusion, another talking point on the side of those who are defending the president, and it's true. At the same time, Ken Starr started out investigating the Whitewater land deal, ended up with Monica Lewinsky and impeachment. And speaking of impeachment, been a lot of talk about that. In fact, Sarah Huckabee Sanders at the briefing said, that's the only Democrats' only message they're going to lose in the midterms. But Democrats, the leadership, the rank and file, except for like Maxine Waters and a few fringe people, aren't talking about impeachment even now. But I think Republicans would like to have the specter of impeachment there because it would help fire up the president and his troops. The bottom line, for all the spin, you can just cut through it. There's no way in which the events of Tuesday, Manafort and Cohen, were not a very difficult day for President Trump. And it's difficult to know what lies ahead. And probably, if the Manafort had somehow been acquitted, that would have been a major setback for Robert Mueller. But a lot of the speculation, whether it's about impeachment, and whether it's about did Trump commit a crime and all of that, is getting out ahead of the story. A lot of this has yet to play out, but I'm here to cut through the spin, 30,000-foot view. It wasn't an apocalyptic day for the President of the United States, but it was one of his worst days in office.